All right, so what's different about these equations compared to the equations we've just been working with?
There's an X
and
and
a
a
Y.
Y.
There's an X and a Y.
There's two variables.
It's
Yep.
a big graph.
And it is an equation because we have the equal sign here. We're going to be looking at graphing. On your warm-up, you guys were graphing. This is what we call the coordinate plane. You guys looked at this last year. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. And we use ordered pairs to plot on the coordinate plane. So you have an ordered pair. This 5 right here, is it representing the x value or the y value? The x value. So this 4 represents the y. So this tells you which way you go, left or right, and then this value tells you which way you go, up or down. So for this first one, you go over 5 and then up 4, and the corresponding point here is h. So what we're doing on the notes today is we're taking an equation and we're going to substitute in values for x and then get out values for y. And it's called graphing with t-tables because this table looks like a t. All right, so what we do, we put x on the left and y on the right.
Always.
Always. Because x is the first point that you plot, y is the second point that you plot. So that's why we put the x on the left and the y on the right.
X comes first in the alphabet and Y comes second in the alphabet.
Oh, Haley, I'm so proud of you.
All right, so what we do is we choose 3 values for x. It does not matter which values you choose. I always choose small values because we're plotting them here on the small graph. So I'll choose values like 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, 0, +1, 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't really matter what you use. So we're going to pick 3 points and write them down in the x column. So I'm going to use -1, 0, and 1. What we're doing with these x values is we're substituting them into the equation. What operation is going on between the 2 and the x?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute this value in for x. So I have 2 times -1. I'm substituting this -1 in for x, and I'm multiplying them together. And that will give me what my value of y is, because y equals 2 times the value of x. So 2 times -1 is -2. So now this gives me an ordered pair. This is my x value, this is my y value. So I'm going to graph this point. It's -1 and -2. So I go to the left 1 and down 2. Now I'm going to substitute in the 0 to the equation. So I have 2 times 0, and that gives me. So my ordered pair is 0, 0, and that puts me at the what?
Very in the middle.
In the middle, and that's called the origin. Very good. Now I'm going to substitute the 1 into the equation. So I have 2 times 1, and that gives me 2. So now my ordered pair is 1, 2. So I go to the right 1 and up 2 and make a point. And then you can draw a line. So the goal here is to graph this equation. And this equation should always give you a straight line, because these are linear equations. If you don't have a straight line, then you have a problem in your math somewhere. Any questions so far? All right, example 2, x and y. Now, when I have a fraction, I don't want to have to graph fractions of numbers when I have whole numbers on my grid. So after doing this for years, my suggestion is to choose multiples of what's in the denominator. Because then we'll get out whole numbers. So examples of multiples of 3 would be what? 3, 6, 9, etc. So I'm going to choose for my x values -3, 0, and +3. So I have 1/3 times x. So for my first y value, I'm going to take 1/3 and multiply it by -3. And that gives me -1. So when x equals -3, y equals -1. So I'm going to graph -3, -1, and put a dot there. When I substitute in 0, I have 1/3 times 0, which gives me, and it puts me at the origin. And when I substitute in 3, I have 1/3 times 3, which gives me 1. So now my coordinate is 3, 1. So I go over 3 and up 1. Does it appear that I have a straight line?
Yes.
Okay, so then I think we're all good.
Do you have to draw the line?
I would like you to, yeah. Just so you can see for sure that you do have a straight line going. All right, example 3. X and Y. We need to choose 3 values for x. I'm going to choose -1, 0, and +1. And now we're going to substitute them into the equation. So I have -4 times -1, which gives me 4. So my ordered pair is what?
-1, 4.
-1. All right, so next I have -4 times 0, which gives me 0, which puts me where?
Origin.
At the origin. And I have -4 times 1, which gives me
-4.
-4. So my ordered pair is 1 and -4. And do I have a straight line?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't have a straight line, there's a couple of things that could have happened. Your math is off, or your graphing is off. So make sure you double check your ordered pairs. All right, example 4. What am I missing on 4? An x. So this equation says y equals 4. I'm not multiplying this value here by anything. Y is always 4. So x, y. Wyatt, pick a value between -6 and +6.
2.
2. Okay? Corinne, pick a value between -6 and +6. Okay? And Jack?
6.
Okay. So what this equation says is y equals 4. So when x equals 2, what does y equal? 4. When x equals 3, what does y equal?
4.
And when x equals 6, y equals?
4.
4. So now let's graph these ordered pairs. I have 2 and 4. I have 3 and 4. And I have 6 and 4. So what's different about this line?
It's not on 0.
It's straight across. Yep, it doesn't go through the origin. Anybody know why that is?
There's no even numbers.
Because what?
We didn't use it.
Because Y is always the same.
Y is always the same, there's no x. What that means is we have a slope of 0 when we have a straight line. All right, on the back, what do we have here?
An improper fraction.
We have a fraction. All right, so again, my suggestion, use multiples of what's in the denominator when you're trying to choose multiples. Use multiples of what's in the denominator because that will give you whole numbers back out. So let's choose -2, +2, and 4. So now we're going to substitute these values of x into the equation. So I have 3/2 times -2. What does that give me? -3. So my first ordered pair is -2 and -3. So I go to -2 and then I go down to -3 and make a dot. The next point, 3/2 times 2 gives me 3. So I'm going to go over 2 and up 3. And the last one is 3/2 times 4, which gives me, not 10, 6. So I go over 4, up 6. Do I have a straight line?
Yep.
Example 6, y equals -3/4 x. So we need to choose values for x. Dominique, what do you want to use?
Sorry, I didn't hear. I was grabbing the other one.
Pick a value for x. Now remember, we want to use multiples of 4.
Alright, 8.
Okay?
You can't use 8 though.
We can't though, because it won't fit on here, will it?
4.
Okay. We could use 0. What else could we use?
-4.
-4. All right, so we have -3/4 times 4. What does that give us? -3. So my first point is over 4, down 1, 2, 3. And then I have -3/4 times 0. What does that give me? 0. And -3/4 times -4 gives me +3. Yep. Sweet. All right, question.